But you didn't give birth this morning.
On the morning of October 9th, 2020, law enforcement officers from DeKalb, Texas pulled over the woman, Tyler Parker, that you currently see in the video due to her excessive speeding. Upon approaching her vehicle, they noticed that she was cradling a newborn baby and the umbilical cord was connected to the infant, which appeared to be coming out of the female's pants as if she gave birth to the child, the affidavit said. Parker claimed that she had unexpectedly given birth by the roadside and was rushed to an Oklahoma hospital as a result. However, suspicions arose at the hospital when it became evident that the woman had never been pregnant, raising doubts about her story.
I found the woman this morning on the side of the road, and her baby had been removed from her body. And then you show up with a baby.
Around the same time, the New Boston police in Texas, west of Texarkana, received a 911 call from a woman reporting that someone had killed her daughter, the statement reads. Officers who arrived at the scene discovered Simmons, who, they later learned, was in her 34th week of pregnancy with a significant abdominal wound, and her baby was no longer in her womb. The FBI detectives swiftly connected these two cases, embarking on a quest to uncover the startling truth.
Okay, yes, are you ready? I'm coming.
She can't leave.
Yeah.
Is she trying to leave?
Even they were unprepared for the magnitude of devastation that this case would later on reveal. The initial step was to confirm whether Parker was indeed the biological mother of the newborn she had brought to the hospital. The suspect adamantly refused to undergo any tests, further raising suspicions among investigators and medical professionals.
She's in there. She refuses to have a vaginal check to make sure she's not hemorrhaging. They've done an ultrasound and HCG, and it doesn't show that she's been pregnant.
Nevertheless, determining whether the woman had been pregnant wasn't a challenging task, and the doctor swiftly established the true situation with absolute certainty.
So, it surely doesn't look like a baby came out of there. It doesn't look like she had a baby.
It doesn't?
No.
Okay.
Does not look like she had a baby there.
Once the crucial information was established, law enforcement officers began to form hypotheses about what might have occurred. Shortly thereafter, they entered Parker's hospital room to engage in a conversation with her. Initially, the discussion appeared innocuous and calm. The woman maintained her fabricated account of events, asserting that she had given birth on the roadside and that her fiancé was on the way to corroborate her story. However, the police officers were already aware that the woman's narrative was entirely false, and the actual events were nothing short of a horrifying crime. Consequently, they adopted a more assertive tone in their conversation with her, aiming to compel the suspect to confess.
But you didn't give birth this morning.
What do you mean?
Parker's testimony frequently became inconsistent under the pressure exerted by the FBI agents. Eventually, she cracked and confessed to some extent.
You've got blood all over you and all over your fingernails, and I mean, that's a pretty intense thing.
However, she continued to attempt to exonerate herself by fabricating implausible stories and alternative versions of events. Asserting that Reagan Hancock accidentally inflicted harm on herself with a knife and that Parker was merely attempting to protect her child demonstrates an extreme level of audacity. Even the police officer couldn't stand it, and his tone became very abrasive.
I guess is some woman, everybody's happy, they're having showers, and then somebody comes along and cuts her damn baby out of the gut.
And no wonder, considering how the events of this cruel crime really played out. As per the details uncovered during the investigation, on the morning of October 9th, Tyler Parker visited the residence of her somewhat acquainted individual, Reagan Simons Hancock. Her stated reason for the visit was to use Hancock's shower due to a lack of water in her own home. Unaware of the impending events, Hancock granted her permission. Parker had come prepared with a concealed knife in her purse. When the two women were alone in the bathroom, a violent altercation erupted. Parker assaulted the pregnant woman, overpowering her and subsequently conducting a harrowing act of performing a C-section to extract the unborn baby from her friend's abdomen. The sequence of events in this crime was exceptionally brutal and horrifying. Parker sliced Hancock from hip to hip using a scalpel and pulled her uterus out. Hancock, who was approximately 34 weeks pregnant, had struggled with their killer. Authorities described defensive wounds on her hands. Among other injuries, one of her fingers was dislocated and another was almost cut off. Investigators determined there were more than 100 stab wounds, with at least 39 on her head. Her skull was fractured in 5 different places, likely struck with both the blunt and clawed end of a hammer. She was also likely beaten with a 4-pound jar full of pink and blue sand from her wedding, investigators said. Authorities initially overlooked the scalpel as it was lodged in the victim's neck. You may be curious about the motive behind this crime and what was going through the perpetrator's mind. We'll provide you with a comprehensive explanation shortly. But before we do, we'd like to kindly ask for you to show us your support by liking our content and subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching. Here we go, back on topic. In this particular case, we encountered the exceedingly rare phenomenon known as fetal abduction. This involves the criminal act of kidnapping a pregnant woman in the later stages of her pregnancy and extracting her unborn fetus through a crude cesarean section. Fetal abduction is primarily perpetrated by women, often after careful premeditation. The abductor may establish a relationship with the pregnant woman, or in some instances, they may feign pregnancy themselves, resorting to abducting another woman's child when it's time to give birth. This is precisely the situation that unfolded with Tyler Parker. Over a span of 9 months, she deceived her friends and family by feigning pregnancy.
Wade said that you've been telling him you were pregnant for a while, for the last 8 months. Why have you been telling Wade you were pregnant? It's just you wishful thinking and you really just want to be pregnant that bad? What was the deal there?
It's likely that her motivation stemmed from her boyfriend's intention to end their relationship, and she resorted to this falsehood in an attempt to keep him by her side. She shared photographs on social media and even hosted a baby shower. Additionally, she posted distressing content on Facebook, which was later uncovered by investigators. The jury found that the woman is a threat to society, and the only punishment that can be imposed on her is the death penalty. Also, Reagan's mother, Jessica Brooks, reportedly spoke directly to Parker, calling her an evil piece of flesh demon. Judge Tidwell told Parker at the close of the proceeding, "You have been found guilty of capital murder and punished by Texas law to death. I formally sentence you to death. Take her to death row." According to Texas Department of Criminal Justice statistics, after her death sentence, Parker becomes one of only 7 women on death row in Texas, making her case a rarity across the United States. If you're interested in learning more about cases like this, be sure to stay connected with our channel and explore our past content. I would just like to say thank you for choosing to spend your time with us today. We'll see you in our next video.